thank you for joining and for being interested in sharing the experiences of the supermarket and the galleries between each other. And I thought we could maybe start with a short presentation of your galleries. Just a very brief overview on what you're doing, how long you've been working, how many members you have, so that both.
Is the sound on?
Yes. Yes, we can hear.
My name is Monica and I'm for Studio 44. Studio 44 has been about 20 years and we have this beautiful space at Södermalm in Stockholm. It's a house, cooperative house with other things going on. And we are 30 members. Some of the members has been in this Studio 44 for all the years. So
What are you?
I have been for about, I think, 10 years. Yeah. And if you want to be a member, you apply to the board and explain about yourself. And the thing is that every member has different tasks. So we have like working with the homepage, working with the mail sheet, the newsletter, or the bar, the Vernissage bar, and everything. And also the tidying up, yeah, of course. And we have a very horizontal structure, so everything is taken by discussions. And we have a board, and we have a program group, and when you want to have an exhibition, you apply to the program group. And they are 5 members, and they discuss to have a difference in different exhibitions. We also make exchanges with other galleries, other artisan galleries. And for the fairs and so on, you apply with an idea, and then the program group decide or the people from last year decide who is going to make it.
Together with the group.
And we start grants from the city, from Stockholm stad, and from the region also. We get some money, not so much. But anyways, and if we want to make exchanges, we can search for travel costs from the aspects to go to other countries. Yeah, I think I can pass it on.
Hi, hello. Oh, this one is much more. At the beginning, I just wanted to say our gathering was planned, but spontaneously the number of people and the configuration is slightly different. But I have to say that it's so rare to sit in like 100 female companionship and talk about art. And I feel so pleased and honored to be a part of this gathering in exactly these circumstances. I love it. So hello, my name is Magda Buczek. I'm a Polish visual artist. And I represent VLP Gallery. VLP Gallery stands for Wylewer po polsku. This is an idiom in the English language. And this idiom refers to one of the first Polish rural immigrations that happened in the 19th century in Denmark. Back then, farmers, mainly young women, were traveling to Denmark to work in the fields of beetroot plantations. And due to the fact that Polish society back then and even now is deeply Catholic, and they traveled to Protestant country, they couldn't get legally married in their religion. So this immigration was living without marriage. And that's why, ironically, living for Poles, to live in a Polish way in the English language means to live without formalities, without being married, and on low resources, hustling to live a little bit outside of the system. And we decided to hack this phrase and to regain it and to redefine it onto living and thinking a little bit between the comfort zone. So the goal of VOP Gallery was to create a safe space for difficult discussions, difficult emotions, and for all sorts of otherness. Lately we were thinking how to define otherness, what exactly are we looking for, because we started, me and my friend Mokhmat Bihir Bartek in the time when I was pregnant. We found this overlapping space of queerness and pregnancy, female and queer activists, as a common space, and we came, and that was our departure point as otherness. But then quickly we realized that if you define what otherness is, you actually stop being open to what is the other, because you always define what is the other from your point of view and not from the point of view of the other. So this is how we started. We started in 2021, so we're 4 years old. Comparing to you, we are just a small toddler that screams and can't hold emotions. So I'm very happy to be here and to get to know how actually you managed to keep this space for 20 years. It's a humongous achievement in the art field.
Thank you so much. It's very interesting to see that you are so different and yet you have the same, very similar goal. And you also mentioned that you both showcase artists in your galleries, but also you participate in different fairs, festivals, events. And I assume that many of these events happen simultaneously. And then since you have both permanent members and also guest artists, I wonder, how do you navigate showcasing all of your artists' artworks? And do you collaborate also with a guest from the outside, like through applications in your galleries? And maybe as you, Agnieszka, you're also a permanent member. So how do you navigate that? Where do you find the resources for that? You want to also say how you started to collaborate with you.
Hi, my name is Agnieszka Szczotka, and I'm a writer, artist, and performer from Poland, currently based in London. So the way we met, me and Magda met, actually relates to the topic of the conversation. Because maybe I can't remember, when was it, 8 years ago maybe? I run a space in my flat in London, like artist-run space where I organize like shows, performances, like dinners, and it was very informal. Kind of shows happened in the whole space of the flat. We never really kind of cleared everything and pretended it was a white kind of cube space. We had the sculptures in the bathtubs. So it was quite kind of like DIY ethos, quite anarchic. And Magda and I, we had like friends in common and kind of followed each other's practices. And we started chatting online and decided to do something together. And then Magda came to London, had like a kind of solo show and performance where she kind of sit hidden in a bathroom cupboard, which was tiny. So that's how we kind of met. I'm just mentioning it because I thought it kind of relates to the topic. What was the question? And then when they started, Magda and Bartek started running the space, they first invited me to be part of the group show that they were organizing, where I also performed. And when they were invited to be part of Supermarket, they also approached me to perform in the fair, which was a really great experience. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it's exactly that. So you have guest artists, and then you also showcase your artworks on the fairs or in your own space. So what I think is very interesting is how do you showcase all of the 30 members every year? Do you have a schedule? How do you choose the artists that are currently participating in the events or in the exhibitions?
Okay. Hello, my name is Helena Burman. I'm part of the Studio 44 since 2019, December. I remember it very well because the day that I started, my dad died, so it was sort of like a beginning of something new for me too. And so what we do is that sometimes when we come up with themes in the union, and sometimes we see it's very simple because we say that I want to be part of this exhibition, so we send in a mail, so it's quite transparent. And so when we have members who exhibit, and then when we have collaborations with other artists, like when we meet someone here in supermarket, it's very often that happens. And then kind of like a discussion takes place, and then, oh, we should do something. You should come to our place and we can make an exchange. And so this is how we also collaborate with other galleries and spaces. And it's also a very good way because then what we do is we exhibit together with the ones that we collaborate with. So it becomes also exchange with talks and also with changing ideas and how we work. So in that way it becomes like a very nice collaboration. We have had many of them, and we have been also invited to different like other independent art fairs around. And so is there anything else that you wanted to? Yes, please.
Yeah, I hold it closer than you hear me. Yeah, I can add something because we, as Monica mentioned, we have this program group. So we are 5, and Carolina and I, we are part of that group, and there are 3 more members then, of course. And we meet regularly. Nowadays, we meet every month, actually. Even if we don't need to discuss anything, we meet to have a social meeting simply, to bond and get together and feel that we are a group that are working together. And in this group, we try to put up a democratic order of exhibitors. That's what we are doing. We look into who has been exhibiting recently. Okay, you're not now, you have to wait for a while. And the people, of course, some people would like to exhibit very often. I mean, that's the case for some people. But then we have to, okay, you hold your horses, and you have to wait. And what about you? You haven't been exhibiting for a while. Why don't you show up, you know? So we try to be this kind of a mediator in the big group to make it become democratic, in a way, we can say. So that's how we work. And we work, I've been at the Studio 44 for 2 years now, so I'm a quite recent member. I've been working in this program group then since I started. And it took a while to learn how this works, because it's sort of chaotic, I must say, when you're a new beginner. But I'm slowly learning, and I've come from a big institution earlier. I've been working in a big institution for a long time. So I've been working in an organization that is very well, you know, organized, and everyone knows exactly what to do at what time and when this deadline and blah, 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 like this. And it's simply wonderful to be in Studio 44 because it's the opposite. It's chaotic, and it's a sort of freedom, you know, when you work like that. And still, we are very supportive to each other. Everyone supports each other all the time. and that's wonderful. No mobbing, no nothing like that. And always supportive.
The thing I want to add is that we have a big variety of people doing art. The art is so different. You know, we don't have any special style. We don't have any special age. We don't have, you know, no ism, no nothing. You know, it's so wide. We don't, you know, we even have people who hasn't gone to art schools. So it's. Therefore, I think you can be very, very free here because we try to not judge the art, and I think that's important in our place.
I just felt the need to add something because both of you, Carolina and Katrina, you said something that is also very important for us as a gallery. Like, first of all, this thing that you mentioned, that you try to meet, never mind if you have an agenda to exhibit or not, that you have to meet, that you have to just keep this intentional contact, intentional touch, to be together, like this feeling of togetherness. I think this is something that has a very big bonding potential. And also for us, we try to do this by having dinners, by hosting friends, by inviting other artists. Even when we don't have a special goal, it is so important to just be together and sometimes even to have conversations that are not about art. This is the support that we really seek and that we really want to create. And then the thing that you said, Carolina, that is quite rare. It's not that often to appreciate art in different forms, to cancel the judgment or like academic agenda, and also to be curious of artists that not necessarily hold artistic diplomas. I know that for my friend that is unfortunately not here, that was one of the most important points of our gallery, since he is a visual artist that has not finished artistic school or university, yet he's a practicing artist. And I think that all those forms of exclusion are things that we should really pay attention to as artists and as people who create art field and art community. So thank you.
Yeah, and that very well connects to the topic of community building, because it seems that you internally have really good systems to build your own community, and then I wonder, do you also include people from the outside? I don't mean even artists, but the audience in your rituals or in your meetings, because it seemed that you are hosting some kind of events, dinners, some rituals, and then you have these meetings more among members, if I understood well. So I wonder, do you include the audience, and if not, then how do you? Is audience important in the themes that you mentioned, also in the themes for the exhibitions? Do you think about the audience, and what is your actually target audience?
I was thinking about that we often have art talks in the exhibition. That is a way to include people, to talk, to have like conversation between like me and Mariana. So we talk about the art, and that is our way to include people. But we don't have a special target group or something. We just we spread through social media, through mail, chimps, through the homepage, and also we try to make different kind of exhibitions, so it will get people to come, like from different. So, like Carolina said, we make different art, and I think it's so important as an artist to meet other artists and have discussions, because it's quite a hard life to be an artist and to continue to do art every day, every week, because it's not so easy, like for the economy and so on.
So I think it's really like so nice that we have this kind of collegial discussions and artist talks. That's really important.
Yes, and I think all these talks together that we have, nu då, yeah, that all these talks also protect us from the, I took it on the sneaky self-censorship. That's so easily now when the money is, so it's founding so difficult. And it's easy to be hard to myself as an artist, and these talks together protect us.
Yes, and I'd just like to add a little bit more about audience. It is a challenge to reach out to audience that is not in the circle of art and in the community. We all go to different art places and we know each other, like in Candyland, and we know each other in different, we have a gallery that is just opposite of us, which is a small little one, ID gallery. But to reach out to a wider audience, that is a challenge for us also. And we have on our homepage, so we have made something called a 360 virtual tour. So and also that we are more and more communicative, and we have one that is taking care of all the Instagram posts and Facebook posts, and we have Mats who is doing. He's filming and he takes photos of our exhibitions, and we try to reach out also on social media in that sense. But we find it a challenge about it. So how do you do? Do you have a challenge?
Absolutely. I get you so much. And me as an artist, I also sometimes I just feel a little bit frustrated and overwhelmed by this feeling that the system is very like an inbreed, like artists creating for other artists that are friends, so they are coming for the openings, and then curators for institutions thinking about the same group, and then at some point then you have this feeling that maybe what you do is actually pointless. If you see, can you see some fresh faces? Can you really see a person outside of that circle having an authentic emotional experience when encountering art? And for us it was also very important. We were quite lucky with our gallery. We started this gallery in our own studio that we were subletting and sharing with two other artists that were not visual artists. So that was a start of expanding our field. There were musicians. One of them, Christopher Huldig, he's a renowned Danish pianist, and the other one, Zachary Hatcher, is a New York-based harpist that just came to Copenhagen. So at the very start, we just gained this community of musicians that started to come to our gatherings. It was fantastic. And since we are also quite involved in queer community of Copenhagen, we have many friends that are activists, not only from Poland, but also from Copenhagen. We have Nina Matusik, who is a board member of Copenhagen Pride. We have Uffe Poulsen, who was involved in LGBTQ Center in Copenhagen. We also were very privileged and lucky to have this wonderful audience coming to our events. So that was something that we got at the start, and I think like it happened very organically because each one of us was bringing something to the table, some life circumstances. Like I'm a mother, so I'm bringing kids and other people who are parents who sometimes have to do something with the children. And in that way, this like audience was expanding on different circles. And also our art and our events started suddenly to be kid-friendly. then we started to be interested in local community. Our gallery is situated in Ama. This is a district of Copenhagen that is not that hip and centered. And we found it really, really interesting. It's a little bit like this impression of the supermarkets. You know, we have here art fair where we show art, but at the same time, it's not a central district of Copenhagen, and we are placed below the actual shopping mall. So it adds some kind of like additional realness, I think, to our experience. Like we can't forget that there are people who are coming just to make shopping, to make a living, and to just cook dinner for someone. And I think that context, at least for me, is very crucial and very important while making art.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Does anybody want to add something to that as well?
Yes. It seems like I'm talking a lot here, but thank you for bringing this view for us also to, because we really need to expand ourselves and renew ourselves, because the time is renewing all the time. And it's not the same map as it was 20 years ago. And so maybe to bring in the idea of expanding with different art groups and different fields of musicians, poets, maybe that could actually bring in some more people and a wider audience. We have had, I know, a program, was you, wasn't it? We had, who was it in our commune that had with the school?
Yeah.
It was you.
Yes.
Can you tell me us
yes,
about
I'm
it? Because it's amazing.
also working part-time at the school for people with different diagnoses like Down syndrome and autism and all that. And we did this big exhibition with about 40 artists that has different diagnoses. So when it was very beautiful. It was all about making a space for them to be in the art field, and it was all it's a lot of self-portraits. So they were painting themselves or making a sculpture as themselves and showing it up, and it was a beautiful exhibition, and all their parents and the relatives came, and it was really a lot of people. So that was, I think that's a good thing to bring other kind of artists in. So yeah, people from like outside the art, or how to call it.
Yes, and it seems that the cities, the big metropolises that you're both located in, are helping to reach this audience or the broader audience and have these unique ideas and more inspirations. And, for example, galleries under the or fairs under the city center. But it definitely also brings some kind of challenges, daily challenges. Also maybe regarding the audience, but also funding and space and how the rent. And do you see any? Can you see any difference within the last years in the opportunities and some kind of challenges in Copenhagen and in Stockholm being based here? And London as well, because you also mentioned that you had a gallery in London, right? Maybe you would like to mention.
I mean, at that time, we weren't getting any funding. To be honest, I didn't even think about the fact that we probably could have gotten some, although, like at the moment, in terms of funding, I think in London, like in UK, it's getting worse and worse, and it's not going to get better, unfortunately, because there are cuts to like arts funding, to art schools, and it's just just the climate of austerity really at the moment. So I hope you're getting better support in Scandinavia. Yeah.
Do you want to talk? Okay. Yeah, I'm the accountant and sitting in the board here. Oh God, I have no. I'm sorry, I'm laughing because it's such a fun spot to have in a board, because you are the sneaky one, and you have to say no. We can, because we have to take care of the money. We can't use too much. It all has to go to exhibitions. So our goal, when we have discussed, and we have sometimes we have member meetings, and those meetings, if we need, we have plenty of member meetings. And lately we have had to have plenty of member meetings and getting together and discuss. So when it comes to finance and so on, we had to build up a very strong economic system. And I will suggest you to do so, because when you can show your figures and where they go to, you can also have a very clean paper and slate because when you talk to governments, it's just money. And it's, I'm sorry, but it is so, and everything has to do with money. So if you can show exactly where your money goes to, and you are really particular, so you say that this is for paint, for just to make the walls white, and this is for to hang up, and this is for, so and this is the rent, so you can show. It's good. Yeah. Yeah, I keep the wallet. Okay.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about the money, because supermarket get less money this year, so it's cuts in the art scene in Sweden, and I think all over the world. But because we are under the supermarket, as you said, which is, it's very good that we meet, because if we meet, because I will recommend you, because I meet you now, of course I will recommend you, and maybe then it's a buy in Sweden. So I think if we in the supermarket try to keep as many contacts as we can, talk, so even if it's hard, sometimes you don't want to talk to anyone, but try to talk at least to 3, I think it's good to, you can recommend people from other countries, and we can build a very, very strong underground scene platform, which I think maybe gives us more money than if we would be up on the earth, with the real market. I've been thinking a lot about how to get money without getting funds, and I think this is the best, it's the only way we can do, because we don't have so many contacts, is to meet up and have performance evenings or exhibitions in our spaces or in flats. Yeah.
Thank you. I think that this is a good moment for me, because it's very important also for our gallery, our toddler 4-year-old gallery, to name some of the institutions that actually helped us or supported us. So starting with the most current one, Polish Institute in Stockholm, Patrycja Treicher, amazing help. Really, that was like one of the most welcoming institutions
that we have encountered since these 4 years. Another institution that is supporting us, strangely enough, again Polish one, is Adam Mickiewicz Institute in Poland that is focusing on promoting Polish art abroad. So this is another thing. And the last Polish institution is also quite surprisingly, because it was a rocky road for us, you can imagine, since the political situation is changing right now, and we are very happy about it. Polish embassy in Copenhagen. They were also helpful. And then also that was like more like symbolic support or barter, like offering wine for openings, to be honest. But it really means a lot when you really literally don't have anything to serve for your audience, and we didn't want to make people pay for the drinks, because it's also some kind of like excluding, especially in that area. So yes, so these 3 institutions, but when it comes to Scandinavian institutions, me as an artist, I have to say that I had extremely soft landing, really, in Copenhagen. Like, I came pregnant and then I had a child. It was really hard to build my network and my practice almost from scratch, because I didn't have any network there. And I was super lucky to get Art Hub Copenhagen residency, the first one, desk residency. It unfortunately got suspended because of the pandemics, but it was very nice to feel included. And Danish art workshops and Danish Culture Institute in Rome. That does not happen in every country. So we really appreciate it a lot. And also, not us directly, not yet, I hope it will come, but our artists that were producing works for exhibitions in our little artist-run gallery in Amar in the basement, they got funding from State and Kunstfond for the production of their work. And it was not the only time. Also, of course, they are fantastic artists. That's why they got it. But we also feel super, super seen right now. We made this space because we didn't feel seen. And now, since we started to do something, our visibility for sure has increased. So maybe sometimes it's even good to take, what you have, resources that you have, and start building with people, exchange the energy, and then things may come.
Of course, I do agree on that. I mean, you have to be persistent, but also very ongoing all the time. It's super important. You have to show what you have.
Yeah, and that is also interesting because you have a bit different beginning with supermarket, or as if I maybe no, like that. Yeah. So if I understand well, Studio 44 has been participating in supermarket for many years now, right? And this is your first time, Magda, right? So it's also interesting to know how you approach it, because both your exhibitions here are somehow connected to spiritual tradition, nature, rituals. And since you've been saying that you have different teams every year in the exhibitions, but here you present something more connected to the moon, or to Polish as well, or Eastern European tradition and rituals and nature. So I was thinking, is it something, the spiritual tradition, that you integrate in your programs naturally or very often? And does it connect to this collective experience that you have with other peoples, this kind of metaphysics? Is it something that you have very often in your programs, or is it something specifically for the supermarket?
Well, I can describe an exhibition. It's a group exhibition that we had, was called Insomnia, So it was a very nice theme, and I think that we are going to go with the next one. There's Awaken, which is even better. So that it touches the spirituality, and also so we were a group of artists that met together. We sat down in a group. We did a lot of readings. We talked a lot about the subject and what it is to be in a state of insomnia. And insomnia is a state where you are just in between awake and asleep. It's a very, very strange place you are. So of course that touches the spirituality. So that came very natural for us to go through into spirituality and to talk about it from different angles. And we had so many different approaches. It was a really, really good exhibition, and we were so pleased about it. And we want to go out and do it in different places to just expand that experience. And you and I, we have a connection with Julaj and Marina Abramovic, who is a performance artist. And I have been working with Julaj, and I've been doing his meditation walking, and I use that a lot in my art, to reach my art. But that would be something interesting to take up, don't you think? You have been working with Marina Abramovic.
I can say some words about that because Marina had an exhibition at the Moderna Museet a couple of years ago. And then as I worked with performance art and film at the museum, I arranged a huge performance act with her, and 20 performers involved, and a lot of choirs, 40 choirs. They were singing throughout the whole week and so on. And before that happened, I also took part of this slow walking and, blindfolded in the forest, you don't know where you are, and all this. And it was quite an experience. So maybe, Helena, maybe we should simply go for it with our group.
So you too. I think we need spirituality, especially nowadays. Can you imagine? It's the time we live in is so rough, and it's so violent, and it's so crazy. So we need to go deep inside. And we artists, and artists in different fields, we have that tool that we can use as artists. And I want to hear what amazing when you talk about your how you met together. Because we are really we don't see each other so often.
Even though we don't see each other so often, at least for me, it's one of the most important friendships.
Yes, very sweet. No, it's amazing to have this, friendship / collaborations in your life, and also Magda. Magda runs this amazing project Surplus as well, where she produces kind of clothing and like her text on like kind of secondhand clothing, which are really amazing, and I always loved it. And I was lucky enough to kind of collaborate with Magda on like a limited edition of sweatshirts with my text from my degree show performance, which was really amazing. Speaking of, because you mentioned like Marina and Julaj, so I was one of the performers at the exhibition at the Royal Academy of Arts in London recently. So I also did these like cleaning of house workshops where we did all these, crazy exercises. like walking, slow walking, counting rice and lentils for 8 hours, like not speaking and not eating. So it was super interesting experience for me, also as a performer. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, and then your performance here as well, connected to light and to the theme "Dream On." So it's something. Would you like to say something about that, or it's hard to maybe talk?
Yeah, it's always tricky talking about my performances. I mean, the text kind of related to what you were saying about insomnia, and like this one is very much kind of collage of different kind of states and experiences, and kind of I think about it as a kind of journey for the body, and this journey that is kind of surreal between, you know, being awake and between dreaming. Yeah, and I guess being able to use this backspace was quite amazing and actually fitted the performance really well. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And then also how you collaborate. And then I know that VLP also puts a lot of focus in spirituality, in rituals. Would you like to say something about that? Like how it is integrated into your program?
Yes, I think everything that is repetitive, and we like to repeat things that our audience likes, can become a ritual. That's the first thing. The other thing is that I really deeply regret that my partner, my co-founder of our space, cannot be here today, because he can speak in a very beautiful manner about this ritual that we developed together. Our first show in VLP Gallery was our duo show. And for that duo show, we decided to collide our practices. Bartek is a Buddhist, and for years he was running meditation classes, and he has a deep knowledge of cleansing rituals and Buddhist practices. I work a lot with text, and I'm experienced in running improv and free writing classes. So we wanted to combine these two practices, meditation, ritual, cleansing practice, and free writing practice, in order to actually do something for our audience, to create an experience that everyone could participate in, despite the language, despite the mood, despite whether someone is an extrovert or introvert. So everyone can get space and be seen and heard. So we created this fire ritual that starts with one simple question or just one simple theme, giving pieces of papers to our audience and a space to write one sentence, one word, a long letter, however they want, knowing that it's anonymous, that it will be collected, and then afterwards burned in the backyard of our gallery, along with other spiritual ingredients. And that would be herbs, salvia, vodka, gasoline, eggshells that we collect, and other things depending on the mood and on the ritual. And then we gather all together around the fire. Everybody randomly selects a piece of paper and reads with a microphone. Microphone is important because some people just don't have enough voice to speak, and they should get it. So this is quite important element. And then all the group repeats it. Afterwards, this little piece of paper gets burned. We thought that it will be like a one-timer, but then audience started to keep asking, when is the next ritual? But are you going to make a ritual on this opening? And at the end, we are making this ritual at every event. Every event has either at the starting point or at the end this ritual, and I can tell you that every time it's different. People react in so many different ways. One time they started to hold hands together. We didn't expect that, we didn't plan that, we didn't evoke that in any way. Another time, there was a moment when it happens, right now it happens, but that was a very, very strange and very touching moment when the text was in unknown language and nobody could detect what this language is. Then we had to read it and repeat it, and it started to sound like a real witching spell for something better. It was really wonderful. So things happen, and what is even more important, after the ritual ends, the energy rises so much that then later people are really, our audience is really energized. Sometimes really wild parties are going on in the gallery kitchen after the ritual. We also used to have a smoke machine in the kitchen, so we just dance in this white smoke, so we can really do very crazy things because we are invisible in the same time. So it's also a very performative kind of a party, I would say. So this ritual somehow engraved in our identity as a gallery. That's what, maybe I should just give space to talk to someone else. I was talking long.
Maybe, Carolina, you would like to say something about your work here and how it's connected to the subject.
Yeah, my work is connected to the subject. I work with philosophical and theological subjects. And I think, for example, the moon, I have made a sun book, and now I'm making a moon performance and the sequence of the moon. I just want to say about rituals, we don't have that. It sounds very nice, but we are so different in our group. We have some people who are completely atheist, without anything. And then we have me, and Andra is also a bit like me, but he's doing performance in a more darker way than I do. So we have a big variety of people. So the spiritualist has always been in my work. I made performances in the 90s, they are in there. And also 2006-07 I did some performance about that. I'm trying to find something I can't touch. That is what I do. So that is my main theme in my work, to touch something I can't touch. But you should also look up Andres Sverdev's work in our gallery. He's also making very mystical work.
I think it will work. And just it became really magical now and dreamy. And to close up the discussion and the workshop and the talk, it was wonderful. And I would just like to ask you, what do you dream on as a gallery for the future? Do you have any dream that you would like to realize this year or after this talk, after this fair? This is a last question. Yeah.
I have done so many contacts, so we will try to have a performance festival, and we will have a film festival, and I will trying to do an exhibition about Baltic scenes, Baltic galleries. So yes, do collaborations. I think I love that. I love to meet new people, new cultures, and the art is so different in every country. You can see the soul in the art. So.
My dream is that we can continue in the gallery in peace and do everything so nice. And I have to talk more about this Baltic Sea, because Tartu is the culture capital town this year. I realized, my mother was from Tartu, so I think we have to take that.
I got very inspired by your rituals. I would like to do something like that as well. Yeah. And we are also preparing little portable bags of different herbs and ingredients, so you can make your own ritual at home. That's also very nice.
So I think, as Mariana said, we are working hard now to keep the gallery in a good shape, And that's a really big goal at the moment. And I love performance. I'm so happy being working with Carolina here, that she has been doing the performance every day. It's been so great. And I couldn't see yours, I'm sorry about that, but you know how it is, you can't see everything, no. But I would also love to work with a performance festival, actually. So maybe we should work together on that, Carolina.
As a gallery, I think we would have a dream to be at least half as experienced as you. So that would be even more than we could wish. Like, it's really so impressive that there is actually existing art-run gallery for 20 years. Because I know that it can be probably hard. I have just one question after we finish about dreaming. Like, how do you cope with crisis situations? This is very important for me to know. With crisis situations among, you know, the running. But anyways, like, my dream about VLP would be to just really continue, and we have these two dreams with Bartek. We would love to have an open call next year to create couples of artists working together and to set them based on some oppositions, like well-known and established one with a beginner, academic with self-taught artists, some old and some young, and so we could just watch these beautiful collaborations. We are also starting, and we are applying, so keep your fingers crossed, for a collaboration with a Belarusian curator and a Belarusian art space to establish an art residency for Belarusian artists in Copenhagen, and this is our big dream.
My dream? Well, the next time I come to Stockholm, I can see your space and the weather is lovely.
Well, I think that my dream, when I hear both of you, I really would love you to come to us. And performance, yes, of course. And rituals, why not? And meditations in the gallery, yes, why not? And well, I also have a Buddhist background. So, and yesterday I was in a Set Thai workshop, which is about healing when you press points in your body. So my dream is to make the gallery still existing because it's challenges, and also to bring the energy up in the gallery, so everybody who comes in there, they will feel like this is a space. This is lovely. Yes. Eller hur? I close it with that.
Yeah, thank you very much. Very good closing, and thank you for today. And I hope that we will be able to meet soon again.